Yo, I want to talk about Innistrad Remastered, that set you were all hyped for and have been playing non-stop. There's such a buzz around Innistrad Remastered. It's the most recent release, and it's all anybody's talking about. Everybody's super pumped for it. It's where all the focus is, as everyone loves Innistrad Remastered. Am I being sarcastic? Only mildly, because I actually do love Innistrad Remastered. I was super pumped for it, and it is all I'm talking about. Or at least willing to talk about a week after its release. Jesus Christ, what's he? Give us some breathing room between reveals. So in keeping with my New Year's resolution, and what some of you in the comments tell me you want in the videos that actually get the views, today I'm going to take a positive look at the set and talk about some things about it that I love, and about my love for Innistrad in general. And if this positive video doesn't do well, I'm going to make a note of it. I was going to use Scryfall to talk about the set, as they have the full Innistrad Remastered card list on there, but instead I got sent this sealed box of play boosters for free. So screw it. Let's talk about the set using the actual cards instead. This play booster box was sent to me by Zatu Games, I guess at this point a long-time friend of the channel. They're a UK-based tabletop games company that ship internationally if you're interested. I shop there because their website often has a lot of sales, discounts and sometimes free gifts, and I've always found them personally reliable, but as regular viewers will know, I'm an independent, I don't work with or for Zatu, or anyone for that matter. Sometimes Zatu just send me stuff for free with very little communication between us if I'm being honest. But that's cool, as it leaves me to make any kind of video that I like, say what I like, and feature or not feature anything they send me at my discretion. For instance, remember when I said they sent me this Modern Horizons 3 gift bundle with a collector booster in it? Yeah, I ain't done nothing with that yet. They sent it and I haven't even opened it. So yeah, I will link Zatu's website below, but it's not an affiliate link and supporting them doesn't support me. I just shout them out mostly as a thank you for sending me free stuff with no obligation, which as a hard-up content creator, I appreciate. So let's zoom in, where my assistant Dr. Hans has already opened that box for us. Gorgeous. I love Innistrad so much, I just like looking at it. And while the packaging's colours are more vibrant than I'd expect for a gothic horror set, I do like the way they contrast and pop against each other. If you look at that backdrop behind Liliana for instance, you can see those graphstones are more blue than the dark blue-black that was used to depict Innistrad on the cards from the original block when we were first introduced to the setting. But that's fine I guess. Dr. Hans, can you flip that over for me please? Thank you, and here we can see all of the draft archetypes for the set. Oh, and that's curious. White-black up there is listed as attrition. Outlast your opponents with powerful sacrifice effects. Sounds to me more like what's known as an aristocrat's playstyle, which was a name that picked up popularity around the time of original Innistrad with the inclusion of cards like Falkenrath Aristocrat in Dark Ascension. However, that card curiously hasn't been included in this remaster, so maybe they didn't want to draw attention to that omission by naming this archetype attrition instead. Odd, but again, whatever. Now, as you can see, Dr. Hans has grabbed 6 packs for us, so today what I thought we'd do is just open them up, chat about the cards, and I'd share some of my love and passion for this plane. So with that being said, here we go. Pack 1. Dr. Hans has laid these out as usual. Over there are our 6 commons, including the 1 guaranteed double-faced common, our uncommons and our wild card, our rare or mythic, our non-foil retro frame card, our foil, our land, and our token or art card. And the first card I want to talk about is Runebound Wolf, because it is a perfect example of a mechanic that I think Innistrad does better than any other set. In recent years we've seen a lot of Magic's fantasy races have their creature types changed and reduced to the nearest animal. Cards that would have once read Viashino now read Lizard for instance. And cards that would have once said Cephalid now have the creature type Octopus. And the argument for doing this is often that people don't care about the lore and the flavour, they just want strong creature type synergy in their decks. Well, the reason that I love Innistrad cards like this Runebound Wolf is because it demonstrates that we can have both flavour and mechanical cohesion. Rather than reducing werewolves down to simply wolves, Runebound Wolf reads, this creature deals damage equal to the number of wolves and werewolves you control. This doesn't just fit into a werewolf type deck, it was designed for it, whilst maintaining a distinction between the creatures for those that do care about the lore and the flavour. I wish this was the standard way of doing things for every other creature type out there. Our spotlight card for this pack, however, is Hermit Druid. I won't go on because I feel like this gets pointed out every time someone talks about this remaster. But now, seeing one of these cards for real just really rams home how weird it is to see something never originally printed in Innistrad reskinned to be included in this set. I mean, it's not out of place exactly, and if this were a brand new Innistrad set with all new cards, I wouldn't bat an eye at the inclusion. But the fact remasters like this set have traditionally all been reprints featuring cards originally from the plane, and as previously mentioned with Falkenrath Aristocrat, many cards you would expect to be included here haven't been. Having cards like Hermit Druid make its debut appearance as an Innistrad card here instead, it just feels odd. Though as I've said, I am in favour of it as I'm always for more Innistrad cards. Pack 2. I can already see what I want to talk about from the very first card, Sanitarium Skeleton. I point this out because Innistrad is a gothic horror setting, but one that revolves heavily around creature types. Now, if you were me, you'd think skeletons would be an obvious inclusion to be one of those creature types, as it's such a classic monster of the genre. But original Innistrad only had the one in Mana Skeleton, and weirdly no others. Marrow Bats came in Avacyn Restored, but to my mind are more bat than skeleton. Mournwillow came in Eldritch Moon, but to my mind is more plant than skeleton. I guess we did get Persistent Specimen in Crimson Vow, but those sets barely felt like Innistrad in terms of flavour at all. And there is a Jumpstart printing of Reassembling Skeleton which references Innistrad characters, but has never appeared in an Innistrad set. And that's it. 6 skeletons in total. Which doesn't feel like as many as I'd expect from a gothic horror setting, but there we have it. Our spotlight card though is of course this foil printing of Faithless Looting. One of Innistrad's most iconic cards, powerful enough for formats to ban it, but popular enough that it's usually unbanned again. Quite possibly one of the best red spells of all time, I love it and it's great to see it here. Pack 3. Oh, well, we have some very interesting picks, but the one I want to talk about most has to be Grapple with the Past. Kind of a heartbreak of a card if you actually think about it too much. The flavor text reads, Emrakul does not grant wishes, desires simply align to her will. Which, considering that this card is the sequel to Make a Wish, where we're shown a little girl holding that same teddy bear and making a wish, it forces us to ask questions like, did she drop the bear? Did she throw it into the well in desperation for her wish to come true? Either way, it looks like her wish wasn't granted as Emrakul's warped her beyond recognition. But even after that, she's still a scared child and all she wants is her bear. Like I said, heartrending, but sometimes good horror needs to be. I don't like this card for that reason, but I do appreciate it. Our spotlight card, however, is Rally the Peasants. When I saw the preview for this reprint during spoilers for this remaster, something looked a bit off to me in the artwork, like something had changed. See, I collect Innistrad cards and I own the original for this, so what I want to do at the end of this video is have Dr. Hands compare the old and new printings of this and see if my instincts are right and something's been changed. I want you to tell me your thoughts in the comments too, but again, we'll do that at the end. For now, Pack 4. God damn, I love Innistrad. I could nerd out about every single card in this pack. Like, look at our foil, we got a Soul Separator. But so that we're not here all day, I'm only going to talk about Flesh Taker, for being fascinating. It's the only depiction of a human assassin on the plane, and what's more, it was first printed in the recent Midnight Hunt. I thought that whole Crimson Vow double feature block was a bit of a flop in terms of flavour, because not only were the sets not particularly interesting in their own right, but also they just didn't feel like the Innistrad that I knew and loved. For instance, what's with all the pumpkins? Do WotC not understand what gothic horror is? Do they just think Innistrad is the Halloween plane? But then we get cards like Flesh Taker. Perfection. I mean, look at it. Yes, it's clearly just an uninspired reference to a serial killer from a slasher movie, which isn't quite gothic horror either. But that decapitated bovine head mask thing and the cornfield framing, they elevate this card to imply some sort of mad cult behaviour. What's the mask about? Who else is in the corn? We don't know, and that certainly is gothic horror in a nutshell. Well done. This card is a banger and it feels like old school Innistrad. I love it. Our spotlight card though is Zealous Conscripts, purely for my fan theory that this card depicts Rorica, the character featured on Crewin Striker. While the clothes are different and you can't really see her hair in Zealous Conscripts, both of these cards were printed in Avacyn Restored, they're both red, and both feature characters zealously following the teachings of the church. See, upon the Archangel Avacyn's return, the curse that had befallen many werewolves was broken, meaning while they didn't regain their human bodies, they did regain their human minds, transforming them into the friendly Wolfear. But for years the church had been preaching that all werewolves had to be put to death, and so the flavor text reads, unhappy with the creation of the Wolfear, Rorica broke with her order and led a crusade against the reformed werewolves. I think Zealous Conscripts depicts this crusade, meaning those humans aren't getting revenge against zombies or vampires or any other form of evil, but poor innocents who have recently had their curse broken. What do you think? Pack 5. Oh good, I can actually see 2 cards here that I want to talk about that are connected. First up is Wildfield Scarecrow, that much like our Sanitarium Skeleton from earlier features an underrepresented creature type. As while scarecrows are often associated with the plane, there's actually only 8 cards that depict them set on Innistrad. But they do still make an appearance on other non-creature cards though, like for instance our Spotlight card, Compelling Deterrence, which is an instant first seen in Shadows over Innistrad and features a man having the bejesus scared out of him by one of the said scarecrows. I really like this art, and it's from an era where a card could be funny without being a joke that's reliant on a meme or a pun. Big fan. Pack 6. And, hang on, what's gone on there? Yeah, did that come out of the pack like that? That's weird. I know they released that statement that said a small number of English language Innistrad Remastered play boosters contain a mismatched double-faced card. So is this one of them? I guess if we talk about that one first, Dr. Hands? Thank you. Most werewolf cards are human on the front face and werewolf on the back, but during Eldritch Moon some started as werewolves on the front and their backside was... oh, Eldrazi, like this one, which narratively was to reflect their corruption under Emrakul. I was expecting this to have the wrong back, but it's fine. So this isn't a misprint after all, just upside down in the pack, very strange. Though I will give it this, that foiling is gorgeous. I love how it shines out of the eyes. Speaking of werewolves though, our spotlight card is... Duel for Dominance, featuring the werewolf planeswalker Arlinn Kord fighting against the dire werewolf Tovolar. And forgive me if I'm incorrect on any of this, but while I like Tovolar as a commander, because he allows you to mix the old Innistrad werewolves with the new day-night ones together more easily in a deck, I don't like Tovolar as a character, or more accurately as a concept. I don't believe dire werewolves were ever a thing on Innistrad until the most recent sets, and I just think they're dumb. I don't think they serve the intended purpose of increasing how scary werewolves can be, and instead only serve to diminish the threat of normal werewolves. I mean, look at the power difference between an old school alpha and now just some random dire strain. It's not you're scared of werewolves and so even more scared of dire werewolves, but more dire werewolves become the new standard and so normal werewolves seem less scary in comparison. Again, look at the size difference scaled next to those buildings in the depictions from an old and new card. Because raising the power level of the new villains just makes the previous villains look weaker in comparison. Which works for some genres of fiction, but I don't think it's something that you want to do to werewolves in your horror setting. But maybe that's just me. Well, that's all 6 packs, but as promised, Dr. Hands has lined up the original Innistrad printing of Rally the Peasants with the remastered version, and yeah, look, there is a difference in the art, or at least in the colour grading. Those shadows on the old one are a lot darker, and that night sky on the new one is more blue than purple. Is it just my copy that's like that, or is it just something that happens to cards over time? Dr. Hands, let's compare some more. Okay, yeah, that's another white card from the OG Innistrad, which seems darker compared to the new version, but at least the colour grading is the same this time. So is this evidence they've decided to alter the art for the new ones? Tried to digitally upscale them or something? Okay, this is a white card from the more recent Shadows over Innistrad, and that seems identical, apart from maybe being a little sharper on the new one. Probably an improvement in printer technology or something, though I had no issue with the original. Okay, now weirdly, this new Athalia is also sharper, but I actually think it looks worse for it. Like the image is supposed to be blended so you can't see the printer dots. Show me a green card. Okay, yeah, this is another original Innistrad one versus a newer printing, and again, that colouring seems different. I wonder what's gone on, interesting. Show me a red card. Shadows over Innistrad and once again less sharp on the older card, and actually looking better for it in my opinion. I think that's enough, thank you Dr. Hands. Curious though, what are all of your thoughts? And we're at the end, that was all 6 packs. What do you guys think? Do you like the set? Were you hyped for Innistrad? Has that hype worn off now that the set's out? Are you happy with the cards included, and do you think they've done something to the art? Let me know in the comments below. Come check out my Patreon if you want to see more videos like this. I could really use your support, especially as my push to be more positive has thus far resulted in less views. And thank you once again to Zatu for sending this box out to me. Link to their website below. I would also thank Dr. Hands for all the help too, but look what he did. And then instead of trying to figure out what order the cards should be in, he just opened a different pack instead. And he took a photo of it for evidence like it was funny. The man's a doctor for God's sake, he does stuff like this almost every goddamn time he opens up packs. The real horror in Innistrad Remastered for me is working with him. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that supports me, like Eggboy the particle that permeates all existence, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me and my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Check it out in the link in the description below. Hit the like button, leave a comment, install an adblock, and most importantly subscribe and share this video with a friend. Hit the notification bell and do all those things the algorithm loves. If you agree or disagree with any of my points, or you want to see me do a video on another subject, let me know and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that supports me, like Eggman. Oh, no, that's a Sonic villain, not Eggman. Eggboy, the particle that permeates all existence, and the rest of my patrons whose names are on screen now. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video. Well, the credits are ruined, I'll keep going. I'd also like to thank the sponsor for this video, me on my Patreon page, where you can get your name credited on screen too. Why have I said it like that? Oh no, why should I re-record this? Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you to everyone that supports me, like Eggman. Fuck me, I've done it again.